And welcome back once again to our continuing coverage of the latest storm to hit Western New York today. There were some areas that got hit with whiteout conditions, snow with a rate of 2 and 3 inches an hour, and combined with Mother Nature and wind makes for whiteout conditions that did cause a 22-car accident on the 90 today, right near the airport, with dozens more involved in it and stuck in a massive parking lot accident.
So just avoid that area. Traffic is moving at this hour, and we're waiting to find out the extent of the injuries, how many people were injured, and what those injuries are right now. But if you don't have to go out, don't go out. There's what, a travel advisory?
Yeah, there is a travel advisory.
Not a travel ban, but a travel advisory.
Right, for Northern Erie County, Buffalo, Cheektowaga, Lancaster, Alden, all the normal places, Grand Island, Tonawanda, Newstead. We have the Skyway, which is closed as well. The nice thing is that we've been doing this every winter. These storms happen. The county and the city were able to coordinate once again.
Stagger.
They have got to give them credit where it's due. They've been able to be proactive with these events. They staggered the city hall closing at 3:30, courts closed at 4, and the county closed at 4:30. So not everybody let out of the city of Buffalo at one time. Otherwise, we just saw Danny Spiewak on Genesee. It could have been backed up all the way back to the 33 had everyone left at the same time.
And it took them a long time to get there, but at least visibility is a lot better now. We need to check in, though, with Kevin O'Connell. He's been tracking the storm for us all day. Kevin, what's going on right now? How much longer will this last?
We're probably talking the better part of the evening, Kellen. I'll get to the exact expiration times for the various warnings and alerts that we have. But as hard as they try, those road crews are doing the best they can, but don't lean on them too heavy, because obviously with all this blowing around, that snow piles up. You just have to take it slow and utilize those travel advisories as well. I know there may be some special events you want to get to. Some are on the canceled side. They're at the bottom of our screen, but for the most part, if you must travel tonight, simply allow plenty of brake space and extra time, because here's what you can expect. Whiteout conditions will continue in Northern Erie County, certainly for the better part of the night, and when the daylight goes away, that makes it even tougher to find out exactly how close are those red lights in front of your windshield. Bitter temperatures and wind chills, they're going to hang in there right through Saturday, but the good news may be the last line. Finally, we're going to get some 30-degree temperatures in here. They should be back by Monday. 5-day forecast as we start tonight. We've been talking all about what's going on now. We'll let you take a little peek ahead. It's going to be definitely a sunny start tomorrow and a little bit warmer certainly than today. Only made it up to 14, by the way, today. Tomorrow we'll get to 20, but then look at the next 3 days. 11 on Thursday, 3 on Friday, Saturday 2. And those are the regular temperatures. Some areas won't even get above 0. And the wind chills, we're talking 15 to 20, maybe 25 below on those days. A little bit of a break on Sunday. 25 degrees will be our top temperature. The blizzard warning, only for Northern Erie County, I beg your pardon. Northern Erie goes till 1 in the morning. Obviously, winds have to be over 35 miles an hour. We've had 40-mile-an-hour gust and more today. Visibility is poor, and the snow was blowing everywhere. Now, we also have the winter weather advisories. These two will expire at 1 o'clock in the morning for all the areas of western New York. We've got some snow, another 1 to 3 possible. Slick roads and reduced visibility definitely is going to be possible. If you like to keep tabs on what's going on officially in Buffalo, not including today, we're a little better than 3 inches below the normal for the amount of snow we normally have this time of the year. Here's the area of my biggest concern, temperatures. Everybody almost in single digits across parts of the southern tier. You tack on those winds, and now you've got wind chills, all minus signs on there, 1 below at Buffalo. Tough for those guys out there, certainly on the thruway, trying to clean up that terrible traffic accident. Here's that band, and again, it has meandered very, very slowly from the south towns, Hamburg, Orchard Park, West Seneca, and now it's working through the city. The heaviest of the band just to our east, and that's exactly where the accident is on the 90. And it looks like it's trying to form a little bit of a tail over in Lake Erie right now. So Niagara County, you're going to be dealing with more of that later tonight. You can see the winds right there. Again, 22 miles an hour in Buffalo, 27 in the Falls. The wind gusts have been over 40 in the Falls within the hour, in the mid-30s here in the Buffalo area. Future look is going to show you that kind of lake effect bubble, if you will, just kind of meandering lingering. Look at the time there, 6:30 tonight, and then we're going to start seeing it slowly move up into Niagara County. But that's going to be late tonight and during the overnight. Tomorrow morning, when you join the daybreak crew, we're going to be starting with clear skies. But as you can see in the afternoon, yet another front is going to come our way. This is going to be more of a synoptic event. In other words, a general snowfall as opposed to lake effect. This will be later on tomorrow night. It will start lingering for the better part of the evening, slowly settle down into the south towns, and then eventually the southern tier where those wind chills could be 15 to 20 below. And as you can see on Thursday morning, we're still going to be dealing with some of that on again, off again snow, definitely during the day and the afternoon. The other story is a storm that's moving up the Atlantic coastline. I put Jacksonville on there. That'll be the scene of our next victory. You can see this line, this storm that's going to hug the coast. And as it continues to move up, it will join with some of that activity from the front coming in from our west. The two of those will pose the biggest problem, not for us, but definitely for the coast. D.C., New York, Boston, up around the northern parts of Bangor. That's going to be where the heaviest precip is. And for us, we're going to continue with those cold temperatures. So for tomorrow, a sunny start with a high about 20 degrees. If you're going to be around town and you'll be here on Thursday, bundle up. Southwest winds, yeah, that's usually the warm direction, but we're only going to a high of about 11. And the 7-day forecast promises bitter cold and wind chills as we get towards the weekend and a little bit warmer beginning of next week. If you need a forecast update anytime, of course, we have the best website anywhere, WGRZ.com. We update your info 24/7, or you can join us certainly on our web line, or our weather link, I should say, at 852-2222. So Kelly and Scott, several more hours of this, and I know where I'm going to be for the better part of the evening, and I got one of Carolyn's great chicken sandwiches to join me.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. And we won't see above 32 degrees till next Monday.
Hey, but that's looking nice on Monday, isn't it?
It's going to stay cold for a few days, though.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go out now to Emily Lampa. Emily is out live today. She is braving this cold temperatures with photojournalist Bob Mancuso out near Genesee. What's the latest there, Emily?
If you're wondering why I'm smiling, it's because the entire time Kevin was talking, we were waiting to go live and my face is frozen. So that's exactly where it's staying. It's going to be in a smile for the whole live shot. But anyway, to move to the more serious matter at hand, take a look at what's behind me. This is snow that's coming down, but I can't even tell you if it's the snow that's coming down out of the sky or if it's the snow that is whipping across the tarmac from the airport, because that right there, you can see now what I was telling you earlier when you couldn't see it because of all that whiteout conditions. You couldn't see where the airport is, but now check it out. The lights are on, so you can see that I was not lying. That is the airport over there. And you know what, it's funny, I checked the tweets coming out from the National Weather Service there over at the airport, and they're saying that, yeah, the visibility, 0. So that was about an hour ago. I'm sure things haven't changed too much considering the wind. And as Patrick had said in his tweet earlier today, you know, it's all about the wind when it comes to these blizzard-like conditions. So take a look at the people driving down Genesee, because that's where we're standing right now, right off of Holtz. This is Genesee. You can see the wind pushing all that snow that I was talking about. Not sure if it's from the ground or from the air, but it's moving. And people are trying to maneuver this stretch of roadway. You can tell people are slowing down, but I don't know if that's good or bad, because essentially, you know, they look like they're out of control the slower they get. You can see how these smaller cars are just kind of slipping and sliding back and forth, trying to figure out, do I go to the left? Do I go to the right? So it's been like that pretty much all afternoon since we got here. We got here at like 2 o'clock to check out, you know, what the situation was out here with these whiteout conditions. We were actually trying to make our way to the I-90 to see what was going on out there in terms of that accident. We didn't get very far because of all that snow and that wind moving. We were turned around by NFTA police because the tunnel that goes along Holtz, they closed it because of the whiteout conditions. So they're still working really hard to get these roadways open. You can tell motorists still out here in number because we are now in the peak travel time. But I mean, this hasn't changed since earlier today. People still out. So if you got to get out, just use common sense. Be careful out there. We're out there with you. So please, just prayers for everyone out here. It's kind of tough. Right. Scott?
Emily Lampa, thank you very much, Emily. You get back in that van and stay warm.
Yeah. Right now, we're going to talk to Bill Geary on the phone. He's the Erie County Commissioner for Public Works, so he should be able to tell us a little bit more about that pileup that happened on the thruway. Bill, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Hi. So what can you tell us about the number of cars involved and any injuries from the accident on the thruway this afternoon?
I don't have too many details on that since that's off of our network of roads and on New York State thruways, but I have been seeing some emails go by from our Emergency Services Department and Commissioner Neverth and the county executive. The county executive was on the thruway. Thank God wasn't involved. But somewhere around 20 vehicles or more. Not really certain on the injuries at this point.
So, Bill, what has been your biggest challenge today?
The timing of this event, obviously the weather hitting the metro area, the north towns that typically don't get hit. And then at the time, just before the evening commute, schools are letting out. So trying to get everybody on these other routes like DOT's Genesee, Broadway, Clinton Street, and then all the county roads also to absorb all that traffic that normally would maybe be on the thruway.
Danny Spiewak was out on Genesee, and it looked like, everything was plowed. You could see the pavement. It was treated. So you guys did a great job getting people out of downtown, staggering, and getting to those roads that maybe normally wouldn't see this much traffic, especially with the Skyway closed.
No, it was a coordinated effort. We've been talking with our partners at the city, New York State DOT, New York State Thruway, obviously. NITEC had a conference call. We did a National Weather Service call. So all the communications and lines of communications have been very clear, and hoping just to get everybody home safe. It may be a little slower. Alternate routes they normally wouldn't have taken proved to be effective. And again, just hoping everybody in that accident's okay on the thruway.
Tell us about your equipment. Any issues with your equipment, Bill?
The equipment and the personnel have been running, honestly, probably 24/7 with the exception of maybe 12 hours on New Year's Eve since about the 4th of December. Everything's holding up. We got a great team in the county highway department keeping the equipment running, but we've had some maintenance issues because of the colder air. It takes its toll on some of the equipment. Everything gets a little fragile and sensitive, just like we do, I guess,
So are you involved at all with that 22-car pileup that was on the 90, or is that just the state?
Just the state, not us directly. Like I said, we're keeping all our roads that may have been like a secondary or tertiary route from when people heading back west from like the Pendleton exit into Erie County, or people heading east trying to take alternate routes. And then obviously all the other ripple effects on our system in and around the city of Buffalo. People normally be on the 190 or 90, probably took some secondary routes out of the city today on some county roads.
Bill, while we have you on the phone, also we have noticed just recently popping up, obviously because of the weather and the thaw and warm and cold temperatures, some of the potholes that have been popping up. I've made a couple calls in my area. Are you guys going to be back on that once the temperatures get a little bit warmer to be able to fill some of these? Because actually some vehicles out there are actually swerving to avoid these potholes, and then it becomes a more dangerous situation after that.
No, absolutely. It's problematic throughout the winter, and we try to keep a team together to address potholes. Obviously, there's some that get out of control, and we try to get on them right away. These temperatures and the events that we've had the last 24, 48 hours have precluded that, but I can tell you we're looking forward to a break in the weather, and filling potholes is a nice assignment as opposed to sitting behind a plow truck the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure thing. So as of right now, it's just a travel advisory, correct? You don't foresee a travel ban going into place this evening, do you?
No, not this time. It's just more a travel advisory. We want to let everybody be aware the conditions can change rapidly, especially on some of the north-south roads. You'll have, like you said, see some black pavement and the blowing and drifting coming across the road. People can hit some drifts possibly. So the advisory is just everyone to, take a little extra precaution. If you don't have to travel, don't.
Well, and it looks like things are moving along pretty well right now. The biggest issue still is just the 22-car pileup that happened on the 90 right now, and Kevin's going to have the latest on where the snow bins are in just a few seconds. Bill Geary, Erie County Department of Public Works. Bill, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you. You guys have a good evening.
All right, let's head now back to the information center right now, where our Steve Brown has some information on where some of the people that I believe, Steve, that were stuck in that accident on the 90 where some of them may have been taken to, correct?
Yes, we don't know where they came from, but we do know where they're going to if they're in a vehicle that is disabled, either disabled because it was damaged in the accident or disabled possibly because it is unmovable in the snow, or disabled possibly because they've run out of gas because they've been sitting there idling for hours, it would appear. There's a couple of locations. We do know that it appears that the Lancaster school system has provided buses, we think it's 3, to try and transport these people out to a couple of different locations. One of them is right at the entry exit for exit 49, the Lancaster Depew exit, right there off of Transit. It's across the street. That would be the Garden Place Hotel on Transit. We confirmed with them that they've been asked to be a staging area for folks. We understand that 2 people have already arrived there at the Garden Place Hotel, but they were transported there by a Good Samaritan who managed to pick them up and get off of the interstate. The other location that they're headed to is the Harris Hill Nursing Home. That's on Worley Drive in Amherst, Williamsville, and they're acknowledging that they've been told to expect a number of folks. In both cases, these 2 locations are expected to just be some sort of way station for folks to get there, so that they have some place for loved ones to come and get them, pick them up, so that they have transportation home, because obviously the vehicles are unable to move under their own power. So as of 5 minutes ago, when I was talking with these folks on the phone, confirming the details that we heard over the police scanner, buses had arrived at neither location. So we do expect them shortly. We do not have a count at either location as to how many folks they're expecting, but given the parameters of the accident that we know, in the low 20s in terms of vehicles, it would seem like there would be a smaller number than originally thought in terms of transportation. But we know that they're going to 1 of 2 locations. So if you have a loved one that's stuck there, expect a phone call to get them at either the Garden Place Hotel or the Harris Hill Nursing Home over on Worley. Scott and Kelly.
Very good, Steve Brown. Steve, thank you for that. We're going to check in with Ron Plants. He is live at the McGuire's Harris Hill Nursing Home, where I have spent plenty of time over there. Very nice, very nice employees, very familiar with the place, yes. Right near the Golf Dome. Let's go live to Ron Plants right now. Ron?
Okay, I'm here at the Harris Hill Skilled Nursing Facility. This is on Worley Drive in the town of Lancaster. And the facility behind me here, at this point, I'm being told by one of the staff members inside that they do not have anyone that has arrived here yet that was taken off the thruway. However, they are anticipating that school buses will be coming in here. They're being used to transport anybody who's on the thruway who was involved in this multi-car pileup out there, and bring them here as a temporary shelter so at least they can warm up at this location. We did talk to a Lancaster police officer just very briefly, not able to do an on-camera interview, but he was telling us that they were going to escort school buses from the Lancaster School District out at the entrance there in Depew, out onto the thruway to pick people up. He did not have exact details, but he heard that basically people were saying that they had minor injuries, some bumps and bruises, but he was not of hearing of anything serious. But again, this was somewhat just coming from him, and he said he was getting stuff second and third hand. But that is what he was hearing. I know out there when we were in that entrance there to the thruway right off of Transit Road in Depew, we did see some volunteer firefighters who were in their vehicles who were told that they were there to stage and they were on standby if needed. That included the Highview Fire Department, and they actually had on a trailer with their fire vehicle something called an Argo, which was a tracked vehicle, which they had on standby if they were needed to use that as well to access some of the terrain out there on the thruway there out. Again, this was beyond the Depew exit, but we've been talking about this multi-car pileup. So again, people would be brought here to the skilled nursing care facility to warm up. I can tell you here in terms of the conditions, what we're seeing here right now, that for the most part, it would seem as though the snow is diminished a bit from what we were seeing earlier this afternoon. I know Scott has been referring to that too with his drive-in around 2 o'clock or so. We were dealing with whiteout conditions as we were going out on the 33, and then we got onto Genesee Street and headed out near the airport. And then from there, we got onto Holtz, and traffic again, just at a standstill at a lot of those locations. Then we finally got onto Transit and made our way to the thruway entrance there, and that's about as far as we could go at that point. Again, that was being used as a staging location for firefighters and for police that would access the thruway to go out and help with some of these cars and the people that were in the cars involved in this multi-car pileup. So again, no one has arrived here yet at the Harris Hill Skilled Nursing Facility, but we are told that people could possibly be brought here soon in school buses as the police and emergency personnel would bring them here, and this is where they would have shelter. So hopefully we'll be able to get more updates for you as the evening goes on. Again, according to a Lancaster police officer, he was hearing of just minor bumps and bruises, and obviously people very cold, but they were going to take care of them and get them here to get them out of the elements so that they at least had some warm shelter. Ron Plants, Channel 2 News, reporting live here from the Harris Hill Skilled Nursing Facility on Worley Drive, and I'm going to send it back to you in that nice warm studio.
All right, Ron, thank you. We want to let everybody know that the westbound thruway is now closed at exit 48A. That's something that just happened while Ron was talking.
And that nursing home is always quite warm, too. I spent some time there. They brought my father-in-law back to life. So.
Aww.
And it's always warm in there. And the people are very nice. The food's not so bad, too.
So it's a
pretty
good
good place for them to go.